When was the last time you actually sat down and calculated how much you'll need to retire? Not guessed, not hoped, calculated. Do you know the number? Or are you just assuming you'll figure it out later? Because later always comes too fast. You tell yourself you have time, that you'll save more when you start making more. Those things will somehow fall into place. But deep down, you know that's a lie, a comfortable lie that keeps you from facing what you don't want to think about. The silent fear you've been avoiding. Retirement isn't some distant dream. It's a financial deadline. A point where paychecks stop, but expenses don't. And yet, you push it aside. You tell yourself, I'll focus on it later. But later becomes next year. Then the year after that, until one day, you realize you're running out of time. So be honest, how much do you actually have saved? How long will that last when you're no longer working? And what happens if you come up short? The false comfort of it'll work out. People love to tell themselves stories. They assume Social Security will cover everything, that they'll just downsize, that their expenses will magically shrink in retirement. But none of that changes the reality. Living for decades without a paycheck is terrifying if you're not ready. If thinking about it makes you panic, that's a sign. A sign that you've been putting it off too long, a sign that deep down you already know the truth. You are not as prepared as you pretend to be. The longer you lie, the bigger the problem becomes. Every year you wait to get serious, the hole gets deeper, the options shrink, the sacrifices get bigger, but you still have a choice. Keep lying to yourself or start doing something about it. Because the only thing more terrifying than planning for retirement is realizing too late that you didn't. You've been sold a dream. A retirement filled with travel, relaxation and total freedom. A paid-off home. A life without stress. But have you actually done the math? Or are you just assuming that somehow everything will work itself out? Because according to Suze Orman, most people are living in complete denial about what retirement actually costs. They dramatically underestimate how much they'll need, and by the time they realize it, it's too late to fix. The retirement fantasy versus reality. You imagine vacations, but have you planned for decades of medical bills? You assume your home will be paid off? But what about property taxes, maintenance and rising costs? You think you'll have enough, but have you accounted for inflation draining the value of your savings? Most people don't retire into freedom. They retire into financial panic, because the dream only works if you have a real plan to back it up. And for too many people, that plan doesn't exist. The lies we tell ourselves. People love magical thinking when it comes to retirement. If I work hard now, it'll all just come together. I don't need that much, I'll just live simply. If I just keep saving a little, I'll be fine. But hope is not a strategy. You're not just saving for a few years, you're funding 30 plus years without a paycheck. And in that time, life will happen. Medical issues, family emergencies, economic downturns, things you aren't ready for. Are you building a plan or just hoping for one? Ask yourself, what is your dream actually based on? Is it backed by real numbers, real savings and real planning? Or is it just a vague idea you're hoping will magically work itself out? Because retirement isn't a fairy tale. It's a financial deadline. And if you don't start facing it now, you're setting yourself up for the exact opposite of freedom. A future filled with stress, scarcity, and regret. So be honest. Are you truly preparing for retirement? Or are you just telling yourself a story and hoping it all works out? How denial becomes a debt. You can't pay. Retirement isn't just about money. It's about time. And time is the one thing you can't get back. But instead of facing that reality, most people tell themselves comfortable lies to delay the truth. Lies that feel good now, but create a future crisis they won't be able to escape. The lies that keep you stuck. I'm too young to worry about it. So you push it off, thinking you have decades to figure it out. But every year you wait costs you more, because the power of compounding only works if you give it time. I'll start saving after my next promotion. Except when that promotion comes, you upgrade your life instead of your savings. More income, more expenses, no progress. I'll just work until I die. Will you? What happens when your body can't keep up? When layoffs hit? When does your industry shift? Betting your entire future on never stopping isn't a plan. It's a gamble you will lose. Delay now, pay more later. Every year you wait to start, the hole gets deeper. The savings you didn't invest won't grow. The money you didn't set aside won't be there. The time you lost can never be replaced. And while you're putting it off, inflation is eating your dollars alive. The money that could have secured your future loses value every single year, meaning what seems like enough today won't be nearly enough tomorrow. Meanwhile, life happens. An illness, a job loss, a family emergency. And when you have no financial cushion, those moments don't just shake you, they wipe you out. Waking up at 65 with nothing left. Picture this. You wake up one day, retirement isn't a distant future anymore, it's here. And suddenly you realize you don't have enough to stop working, you don't have enough to maintain your lifestyle, you barely have enough to survive. And the worst part? You can't go back and fix it. That's when reality hits. That's when the regret kicks in. Because by then, there is no more time. Denial is the most expensive debt you'll ever owe. You can lie to yourself now, you can keep pushing it off, but eventually the bill comes due. And when it does, you'll wish you had started sooner. Suze's wake-up call. You'll need more than you think. You think you're saving enough. Suze Orman says you're not. She doesn't sugarcoat it. Most people are dangerously unprepared for retirement. They think they'll get by on a few $100,000, a paid-off house, and social security checks. They won't. Because the truth is, retirement costs more than you think. And by the time you realize it, it's too late to fix. Why most people are delusional about retirement. Suze warns that most Americans are wildly optimistic about what they'll need. They assume a few years' worth of expenses will be enough, that their costs will shrink, that their lifestyle won't require much. But that's a dangerous fantasy, because retirement isn't just about surviving, it's about making sure you never run out of money before you run out of life. She insists you need years' worth of living expenses saved, not just a retirement account, but enough liquid cash to handle emergencies, downturns, and the unexpected disasters that will come. The costs no one plans for. Most people only budget for the basics: food, rent, bills, but real retirement expenses. They go far beyond that. Skyrocketing healthcare costs. Medical bills don't disappear when you retire. In fact, they get worse. And Medicare, it doesn't cover everything, and one serious illness can wipe out your savings. Housing expenses don't stop. Even if your mortgage is paid off, maintenance isn't. Roof repairs, plumbing, property taxes. Owning a home isn't free. Rising food and utility costs. Inflation is a slow, silent thief. What seems affordable now will feel crippling in 20 years. Unexpected emergencies, car repairs, a family member needing help, a natural disaster. Life keeps happening even when you're retired. $1 million isn't what it used to be. You think having $1 million means you're set? Think again. $1 million used to mean wealth. Now, it barely guarantees security. After taxes, withdrawals, and inflation, it won't stretch as far as you think, especially if you live 20, 30, or 40 years after retiring. Retirement isn't just about covering the basics, it's about maintaining your freedom. Because scraping by isn't living, it's surviving. Are you aiming too low? Ask yourself, do you want to scrape by in your so-called golden years? Or do you want to actually live without fear, without stress, without wondering if your money will run out before you do? If you're aiming for the bare minimum, you're already setting yourself up to fail. Suze's wake-up call is simple. You'll need more than you think. Start acting like it. The silent enemies of your future, lifestyle creep and wishful thinking. You're not losing your retirement in one big mistake. It's disappearing in the small decisions you make every single day. Because lifestyle creeps. It's quiet, it's sneaky, and it's stealing your future without you even noticing. How lifestyle creep traps you. You get a raise, so you upgrade your car. You get a bonus, so you book a fancier vacation. You get a promotion, so you buy a bigger house. And each time it feels like progress, like success, like proof that all your hard work is paying off. But here's the truth. You didn't actually get ahead. You just got better at spending. I deserve this. The lie that keeps you stuck. You tell yourself, I work hard. I deserve this. And maybe you do. But does the future deserve to struggle? Because in the present, you refuse to wait? Every time you choose comfort today over security tomorrow, you're making a decision, whether you admit it or not. That expensive dinner, money that could have grown in investments, that impulse buy, savings that could have compounded for decades, that lifestyle upgrade, more financial pressure that keeps you working longer. The retirement is sacrificed in the tiny choices you make every day. Nobody wakes up at 65 broke because of one bad decision. They wake up broke because of 1,000 tiny ones. The dollars they could have saved but didn't. The raises they could have invested but spent. The years they thought they had but wasted. And by the time they realize it, the clock has run out. Wishful thinking won't save you. So tell me, what's your plan? Or are you just hoping it'll all work out? Because hope doesn't build wealth. Wishful thinking doesn't stop inflation. And ignoring the problem doesn't stop time from running out. Your future is built or destroyed, one decision at a time. So before you swipe the card, before you sign for the upgrade, before you tell yourself, I deserve this, ask yourself one simple question. Is this choice making my future better? Or just making my present feel good? Because the small decisions are the ones that decide your future. And once the clock runs out, you don't get a second chance. What happens when you stop lying? Stop guessing, stop assuming, face the numbers. You can tell yourself you're saving enough. You can assume you'll figure it out, but until you actually run the numbers, you're living in the dark. So do it, right now. Look at what you have. Look at what you'll need. Be honest, the discomfort of truth. The moment you see the gap between where you are and where you need to be, it stings. Maybe you're further behind than you thought. Maybe what seemed like a solid plan doesn't hold up. Maybe, for the first time, you feel the weight of how much work you still have to do. And that's good, because even bad news is better than denial. Clarity is power. Most people avoid the truth because they're afraid of what they'll find, but knowing the truth gives you control. When you stop lying to yourself, you can actually do something about it. You can adjust, course correct, build a real plan instead of just hoping things will work out. The peace of a real plan. Picture it. You wake up, and for the first time, you're not anxious about retirement. You're not avoiding the topic. You're not pushing it off for later because you know exactly where you stand. No more guessing, no more hoping, no more stress. That kind of peace, it's priceless. Take control or leave your future to chance. So, here's your choice. Keep lying to yourself. Keep pushing it off. Keep pretending time isn't running out. Or take control, run the numbers, face the facts, start fixing the problem while you still can. Because there's freedom in facts, even when they're scary. And the longer you wait, the harder the truth will be to face. Choose now or regret later.